Hey everyone, welcome back to our little project. Boy oh boy, have I been hard at work working on seasons. Ooh, I've got an S. You get the gist. Seasons. So, we have a lot to implement and a decent chunk of things to go over. Starting of which is not going to be in Minecraft, no. So, for starters, we're going to take a look at Microsoft. And this is essentially how I organize my projects, my commands, and my plans. So why don't we go over a few things nice and quickly. So this is the blueprint that I'm going to be using for seasons. I've gone ahead and used the tag system to group different biomes together so I can designate them as cold, neutral, warm, special, underground, end isolated, and populated, nether reprieve, and nether harsh. So I grab out the folder, we can have a look at the little .jsons. There we go. So this is in our little data pack, under tags, then under world gen, biome, and here we are. We have all the different classifications. So for instance, if I open up cold, I've gone ahead and listed out all the biomes that I consider cold. Now, I haven't included any of the oceans. I don't think the season effect should run in the oceans. So here we have jagged peaks, frozen peaks, etc., etc. And I've gone ahead and done that for all of the different terms. So for instance, in the end, I'm using small end and midlands and barrens as end isolated. And then the normal end and the end highlands where shulker towers or end cities, pretty sure that's what they're called, spawn, as end populated. This is going to be really useful because what this means is we can have a dynamic seasonal effect, not only depending on time. So if we go back to Minecraft for a second, we can see the scoreboard ticking away there for my timer seasons. So depending not only on that clock, but as well as the biome you're in, you will have different seasonal effects. This will allow you to move from one biome to the other to sort of escape different seasonal effects, or try to set up, the most optimal biome to build onto to benefit from the majority of good seasonal effects. Because I do want to make both a negative reason for being in said season and a good reason for being in said season. Okay, what do we have to do then? Well, we have to start assembling everything into the data pack. So from Excel, this is my little draft, my plan. So I plan to have each season run in 3 different tiers. So as it gets to the center of the season, it's going to have the worst effects and then slowly recede and then go into the next season. So I haven't stuck with obviously like spring, summer, winter, autumn. I want to, make something RPG-ish. So our 5 seasons, yes, 5, are Blooming Life, Swirling Ash, Scorching Heat, Soul Frenzy, and Frost Storm. And this is what the commands look like. So this is generally how I like to do commands in Excel. We have our main command, so execute if score timer seasons. Oh, that's wrong. Good catch, it's just timer. The scoreboard is just under timer, so we need to delete that, which is also really annoying, but thankfully Excel has the replace function. We can go ahead, grab timer season, and replace it with timer seasons. Timer. You get the gist. Don't listen to my words, just look at my actions. We do replace all, 94 replacement, that sounds about right. Cool, so this is essentially the logic check. So it executes if the timer matches set interval, and then if it's within set interval, it's going to execute as, okay, these are, give me a sec, I need to fix these up. Right, hopefully that's better. So let's try again. Execute if score timer is within the season range. So these are ticks, divided by 20 for seconds, divided by 60 for minutes, etc. I believe each season runs for 1 hour, 2 hour, 3 hours. So 4 hours. Each season runs for 4 hours of gameplay, in-game time. Real world time. That's, what is that? 1 day, 2 day, 3, 4, 12 days. We got there in the end. 12 days of in-game play, or 4 hours in real world time. Okay, and then we're checking the biome. So if the player is in said biome, in this case listed as cold, then it's going to run this title sequence action bar. Yes. So it being a data pack, I can now get my creative juices going and do some artwork. So we do have icons to show off each of the seasons, and that's what we're going to tackle first before we jump into particles or effects. We got to copy all of these over to a data pack. So here's my little trick. You just copy everything from Excel. You can then go to Word, delete that, we don't need it anymore. Copy and paste it into Word using plain text or keep text only. And then you just have to get rid of the little inserts that the little cells create. I'm sure there's a way to format it so you can just copy and paste it directly, but it's not too hard. You can just use the replacing tool again. you just copy the little gap, paste it into find what, and then replace it with nothing. There you go. All the commands are fixed up, and I can just copy them straight over to a data pack. So where's our little folder? We go back to Runechant. We want to look for functions. Then in here, we want a new... No, we want a template. Okay, so we'll call this seasons underscore icons. So this is all the triggers needed to create the icons for each season. So now all we have to do is copy the commands from Word, Shift page up to highlight every... Right, on that note, remind me never to use page up. Page up is my toggle recording. So done a little bit of work without realizing it. We've gone ahead, copied all the commands over to our seasons icon. So we can go ahead, save that. Then we also need to link it to our tick activate. So this runs every tick. So we've just done function, Runechant seasons icons. And then we're right to see if it works in game, which I already know it does. Because again, I was talking to no one. So yeah, so you can see right there in the middle of the screen, we now have a icon. So what does this correspond to? Well, if we go back to our Excel quickly, we can see that we have scorching heat. This is the icon for scorching heat to the highest degree. So for instance, if I were to set this timer, seasons timer, back down to this number, see, where are you? A scoreboard, paste. See how it's slightly lessened. You can sort of notice it as it ticks through 68 should be fine, right? It should get brighter. It's not really apparent. I might have to do the whole icon. I just did the border as opaque, if you will. So I might quickly just fix that up. Right, let's see how the things look now. Options, resource packs, reload it. There must be an easy way to reload packs, right? Someone knows, tell me. Because surely you don't just have to do out and in each time. It was really annoying when I was testing out the icons. But anyway, once it loads, there we go. That looks a bit better. So there, you can see the icon is very opaque. If we go back to the higher brackets, it shines a bit more. Now, I don't know if I want to do like a glow around it or something like that. Heck, I don't even know if the placement of it is correct. So, as you can see, it fits perfectly just above the levels in between health and hunger. So I thought that was a good placement. The other place I was thinking of putting it was in this slot right over here. So it's above the offhand item. But I don't know. This as sort of a representation, because it'll only appear if you're in the correct biomes. For instance, if I go over to game mode survival, should be, not survival, creative. Don't apply. If we go out into the ocean, it should disappear because the ocean doesn't have seasonal effects, being the ocean. There we go, and it fades away. So depending on what biome you're in, you'll see the icon. Ooh, there we go. So there's some nice lava particles and some smoke clouds that now form due to the season. How's the tick lag doing? Actually going to be fine. So despite running all the particle commands and everything, it's still pretty decently low once we get through the initial loading. Right, it jumps down to 10 at max. Great to see. Cool. So again, if we go out into a biome that wouldn't be affected, we should see that the particles stop. So they are also centered around us. So think of it as a draw distance mechanic, right? So you'll always see particles, I think it's 16 blocks away is the range I'm using. And then if we go out into the ocean, the seasonality stops and the icon fades away. Perfect, and all the particles fade off too. Cool, so that's one mechanic. Also just set it to daytime. Now, if we go back to the season affected biomes, so for instance this, we can see all the particle effects. We go and set the scoreboard higher again. The players, set timer seasons to 68, which should be the max, and 4 zeros. We get the larger icon, and there should be more particle effects going on, which there is. There's slightly more of everything. I don't want to overcrowd the player or make it, detrimental like rain or anything like that, but I do want it to be noticeable enough that this biome is now scorching hot. Hence all the smoke and the raining lava particles. I don't know, what do you think? What do you think of the particle system? Why don't we try, I think these might be affected. No? Okay, so I'm not in the correct biome for the spring. If we go to a meadow, which I think is right there, or the jungle perhaps, I might be able to see some other particle effects. or even a lush caves. Or I could also just set the biome myself. Do we see anything? Anything popping up? No? Okay, so this is still a warm biome. What biome are we in? Plains. Plains should be warm. Plains are normal-ish, right? Let me have a look through my listings to see where we can go to see this biome. Well, problem found. So, it is to do with the tags I set up. So if we get rid of everything but the plains, save it, reload the world, we now have the icon and the particle effects. Yeah, so it means that I need to proofread all of these documents and make sure that I have the correct... Ooh, that's interesting. I'm gonna go there. There we go. Make sure I have the correct terminology for each of the different biomes. So one of these is wrong, so we might as well do this one together. Not that I can put it anywhere you can see. So for instance, if I were to do execute if biome, ... and then we go through the list of biomes, we can just type out the ones in the document. So windswept. Hills is fine, that's everything is spelt correctly. Yep. Gravelly hills. Yep, 2 L's, perfect. And then forest is missing a T. I wonder if that's it. Missing a couple things, actually. Huh. Save it. Reload. Fingers crossed that's all that the issue was, right? No, so particle's gone and the little icon's gone, so there is something else wrong with that statement. So biome, ... What else do we have? Forest, I'm pretty sure it's fine. Birch forest, it's also fine. Old growth, birch forest, still fine. River is a river, it's fine. So it has to be Stony Beach. Right, it's not Stony Beach, it's Stony Shore. Okay, so we can just fix that up, and I probably will have to proofread all the rest. But if we save it, exit, and load back in, should, fingers crossed, work now. Perfect. And we've got the little icon. So this is the, what did I say it was? Something bloom. Yeah, bloom. We'll just call it bloom. That's what I've named the icon. This is the particle effect. If we go back over to the Badlands, I'm pretty sure we lose it too. It should fade away, and there's no particles. Perfect. And we go back to the little meadow. Sprint into flying. It's always quicker. Icon comes back. So does the particle effects. Cool. So we've started the more trickier things of the seasonal system. So we just have to work on a couple of effects, and that'll be that. And we finished our first objective for the little data pack.